we're going to be looking at Surah Ibrahim, which is chapter 14, verse 1. So that you may bring out mankind from the darkness to the light. Allah revealed the Qur'an so that mankind, not just Muslims by the way, mankind could be brought out of darkness and into the light. What is light? So to understand what light is, again we have to look to the Qur'an. It is all defined by God in the Qur'an. And for this we will simply go back to the same verse that we've just been studying. Surah Ibrahim, chapter 14, verse 1. Because we may have missed this. Look at this. Look at this part of the verse. So that you may bring out mankind from the darkness to the light, by the permission of the Lord, to the path of the Almighty, the praiseworthy. So Allah is saying, to the light, to the path of the Almighty, the praiseworthy. So the light is the path of God. The path of God. You remember we've studied previously what the straight path is? That is the path of God. So what Allah is saying is that the light is that path of God. That straight path. So the light is that path you take in this world, which of course then in the hereafter will be rewarded. But the path of God is the path that God has described for us to take in this world. That is the light. But let's compare darkness and light. So we've already looked at darkness, and the light is simply the opposite of darkness. So we can equate the opposite of darkness to be the straight path. So let's think about this. So if we experience light, mankind would be free. We will not feel like we're being bound by the constraints put upon us by the powerful, by the rich, by the big corporates who are only in it for themselves. We'll be in control. We'll be surrounded by positivity, not the negativity that we experience. We'll have more certainty about our future, about security of us and our children. We'll experience peace. And importantly, we will be able to see the path. It will be clear for us. It will be clear what we have to do to achieve success, to achieve salvation. It will be clear to us what the purpose is of us being put on earth. Those are the symptoms that we as a society, as mankind, will experience, if indeed we have been brought out of darkness into light. Now, there's a very important, interesting angle in the Qur'an in terms of light. Remember the word here was nur in the Qur'an. Now, in the Qur'an, Allah also describes the Qur'an as being nur. So the Qur'an is the light. The Qur'an is the light. It is the straight path. Now, bear with me, this may be a little bit confusing because we've looked at the symptoms of being in a light. And we've also now said that the Qur'an says the Qur'an itself is the light. So we've got symptoms, we've got light. How does all of that work? Now, before I answer that question, the Qur'an also says that the previous revelations are also the light. God talks about gospel being the light in the Qur'an. God talks about the Torah being nur, the light in the Qur'an. So it is not just that the Qur'an is the light. All of Allah's revelations were the light. In other words, they were all revealed in order to bring out mankind from darkness into light. That's why all of the revelations came from God. So, how does the Qur'an bring mankind out of darkness, how does it do it? What does the Qur'an do? So you have the Qur'an. How does it bring mankind into light? Is it just by being on the shelf? Is it by me reciting the original text in Arabic and then making a prayer after that, or blowing on people or things or the area around me? Is it by putting the Qur'an on top of somebody's head as they're being married off? How does the Qur'an bring mankind out of the darkness? It's a very important question to answer. So the Qur'an answers that question as well. Let's have a look at Surah Al-Shura, verse 52. That's chapter 42, verse 52. And thus we have revealed to you an inspiration by our command. You did not know what the book is, nor faith, but we have made it a light. We guide with it whom we will of our servants, and indeed you guide them to the straight path. So the way that the Qur'an and the previous revelations helped mankind come out of darkness into the light was by guiding. And the guidance is within it. This is a guide, and it's fully detailed. So in order to come out of darkness, or to bring mankind out of darkness into the light, one must intimately understand this guidance and constantly follow it. It is the guidance that brings mankind into the light, not by virtue of having this on the shelf, not by reciting the Arabic. It is not the recitation that will bring us into the light. It is by taking the guidance. Okay, so let's round up by thinking about why this is so important. Now, I will say that there are many communities in this world which are in darkness. There are many Muslim majority countries in this world that are living in darkness, sometimes literally. So we must ask ourselves, why is that? Why are so many people living in darkness? In many of these countries, people religiously undertake acts of worship to God. They pray 5 times a day. They recite the Qur'an. They save up money over their lives and perform Hajj pilgrimage in Mecca. They fast. Yet the communities are in darkness. Surely we must ask ourselves why. And really, and this is quite simple, there can be only 2 answers to that. Either the Qur'an is wrong, and that this does not bring you out of darkness into light, or, and I hope people will go with this option, which is that people do not follow the guidance of the Qur'an, and that what they understand to be Islam, what they understand to be success and salvation, we have to explore the theory that that may be an illusion. It may be an illusion. If you can accept the symptoms around you are those of darkness, then you have to accept the need to explore why that is. If you think you're performing all the things that are correct, that will bring you into light, and you're not coming into light, then we must entertain the possibility that what we are doing is either wrong or not enough. And we must accept the possibility that we are living in false comforts, that what we have done and what we are doing is sufficient. Now let's be honest with ourselves. How many people actually seek the guidance from the Qur'an? Actually seek the guidance from the Qur'an. How many people spend time looking for the light. Really. Not many. Not many. And to close this, I will say again that for us to take the guidance which is in the Qur'an, we must seek to understand it intimately and follow it constantly. Now I'm going to leave it there. If you found this interesting or useful, please do hit that like button on YouTube. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel, because we do post so many different videos about the Qur'an with the purpose of helping people to understand how to study the Qur'an, what the guidance is that's in the Qur'an, because surely that is what's going to bring us again into the light. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.
أفلا يتدبرون القرآن